안녕하세요, 여러분! Hi everyone! Welcome back to 5 Minute Korean. So, I have been getting a lot of questions from my Filipino friends asking me, where can I learn the Korean language? So, they have been very eager to learn the Korean language, but they're not very sure where to start. So, today I'll try to share with you where you can learn the Korean language here in the Philippines, how to register or enroll to these classes, and how much these classes will cost you. 시작해볼까요? The most important part here first is for you to identify what is your why. Why do you want to study the Korean language? Is it because you want to study in Korea to be able to apply to the GKS program or the Global Korea Scholarship Program, which by the way I discussed in one of my very first videos here on YouTube, so do watch that out if you're not familiar with the GKS program? Or is it because you want to work in Korea, for instance as an EPS worker, or probably work in one of the huge corporations in Korea like LG, Hyundai, or Samsung? Or is it because you want to learn the Korean language for you to be able to enjoy your Korean dramas, be able to watch them without having to read the subtitles? Or you're just learning because it's just your hobby to learn another language? It is very important for you to identify these things first before you continue learning the language. Why? This is because your purpose will determine your learning approach to learning the Korean language. For instance, if you do want to study in Korea eventually, you would have to take the TOPIK exam. Universities will not admit you if you have not achieved at least level 3 of the TOPIK exam. So if you do want to pass the TOPIK exam, you might need to focus on your writing skills and reading skills. But if you're planning to work in Korea eventually, I would advise that you focus on your speaking skills because you might need to deal with a lot of your Korean workmates. But if you're just learning Korean as a hobby, I would advise that you focus on your listening skills so that it can help you when you watch your K-dramas. So I listed here a couple of organizations, universities, or language centers where you could go depending on your purpose. So I divided them into 3 parts: academic, hobby, or work. So let me start off with the academic. So I'll be talking about few of the organizations where you could learn the Korean language if your purpose is primarily academic. That is, you want to study in Korea, or you'd like to teach the Korean language here in the Philippines eventually, or if you'd like to work as a Korean bilingual here in the Philippines, or if you're a linguist who want to specialize in the Korean language, or if you do want to work in Korea as a non-EPS worker. So number 1 on my list is the UP Extramurals class. So I myself have tried taking one of their classes before, way back in 2021, and I took Korean 9, which is a business class for learning the Korean language. They teach you all the technical details of the Korean language. They also follow a well-organized curriculum. So they have Korean 1 to Korean 10, 9 and 10 being the business Korean class or the advanced classes. So I really like how the classes are organized because since they have Korean 1, 2, 3 up to 10, so you get to know what you need to know at what specific stage of the learning process. And also, the quality of the teaching there is really, really good. Well, it's University of the Philippines Linguistics Department, and you have a really experienced mentors because they have been teaching Korean for quite a long time now. That's also where I took my very first Korean class way back 2003. So I think one of the plus points is that they have the advanced classes. It's not really easy to find these advanced classes. Most language centers or universities or organizations would have elementary to intermediate classes, but in UP, they do have the advanced classes, which is helpful if you've been trying to improve your Korean, trying to jump from intermediate to advanced. I also like to share that my professor, when I studied way back in 2021, was Bae Sunjae Nim, and she's one of the translators of the book I Decided to Live as Me. So if you'd like to register with them or enroll to their classes, you can find them on Facebook. It's UP Extramurals class, and they have 3 cycles every year. This year, they posted the schedule in December, April, and August, and you can register to their classes via their website, which is uplinguistics.com/login. And the tuition fee, as far as I know, is at 3,500 for 30 hours. Alright, Number 2 on my list is a Korean Cultural Center in the Philippines. I would recommend this if you're learning Korean for academic purposes and or if you're learning it as a hobby. So I have not tried taking classes organized by the KCC, but I asked feedback from Kat. Kat actually has her YouTube channel as well. It's Annyeong, it's Kat Style, and she's been taking classes with KCC, so I'll share with you her feedback. So at KCC, they do have language classes and culture classes. For their language classes, they have elementary and intermediate classes, but I don't think they do have advanced classes as of time of recording. They also have cultural classes, and this is why I recommend this to Korean learners who also would like to learn Korean as their hobby or if they're focusing on their K-dramas or K-pop idols. So they have cultural classes, they have cooking classes, K-pop dance classes, they have taekwondo class, and some Korean art classes. And I think it's very helpful if you take your classes with KCC because in their building, they have a mini museum downstairs, so you could learn more about the Korean language and Korean culture. They also have a library upstairs where you could also borrow some Korean related books, and you can also watch Korean movies at the library area. Some of the good points why I recommend KCC is because most, if not all, of their classes are taught by Korean natives. So this will be very good for your pronunciation, so they could easily point out how to pronounce words or phrases correctly. Also because their classes, their curriculum is well structured, and they even provide the books which the students can borrow throughout their sessions. And also because my favorite part is that they do have conversation classes. So I think one of the last things that most Korean learners learn when they study the Korean language is the speaking. It's really difficult, especially if you're not living in Korea. I mean, it helps if you live in Korea, deal with Koreans, mingle with other Korean natives in Korea. But for most Korean learners here in the Philippines who don't really have the chance to mingle with Korean natives or deal with them every day, it's not very easy to practice the listening skills and speaking skills. So it's very nice that KCC has this conversation class where we learners in the Philippines could practice our conversation with fellow Korean learners and also Korean natives. So I also heard from Kat that they're also encouraged to speak in Korean in class, to the teacher, and to their classmates. So if you do want to enroll or register to their classes, you can find them on Facebook. It's Korean Cultural Center in the Philippines. I'm not very sure if their cycle every year is fixed, but this year they posted their schedule in January and August. And the good news is that the classes are for free. The bad news is that since they're free, a lot of people are registering to their classes. So they don't follow a first come first serve basis, but they just draw lots to select the students who can take their classes. Also, another downside is that you need to go to Taguig to be able to take the classes because all of the classes are taught on site. Number 3 on my list is King Sejong Institute, and I'll be focusing on the Quezon City branch. King Sejong Institute is a foundation that is funded by the Korean government. So you would expect that they would have a lot of resources to offer to Korean learners because they do want to spread the Korean language globally. You can even access some of their resources on their website, which is at icsi.or.kr. So at their Quezon City branch, they do have the elementary Korean classes. I'm not sure if they're planning to have like intermediate and advanced classes in the future, but most likely because they just started to establish their branch this year. So they're just on the beginning phase of establishing that branch. But if you're just starting to learn the Korean language, their classes would be, a good start, a good introduction to learning the basics of the language. So I do recommend this class, even though I have not taken any classes from here because their mentors are mostly from UP as well. So the mentors are either from the University of the Philippines or trained by the University of the Philippines or affiliated with the University of the Philippines. Not everyone, of course. From time to time, they would also conduct different classes aside from language like cooking classes and other art classes. If you do want to register with them, you can find them on Facebook, King Sejong Institute, Quezon City. This year, they did post a schedule in January and July, and as of now, the tuition is free. So number 4 on my list is the Ateneo Korean Studies program. I would recommend this if you are learning Korean for academic purposes and or if you're learning it as a hobby. That is because they do have, aside from their language classes, Hallyu classes. So Hallyu Korean, they have Hallyu 1, Hallyu 2, and Hallyu 3. So Hallyu means Korean wave. So in these classes, they do try to teach the Korean language through K-drama and K-pop. So I mean, if you want to hit two birds in one stone, then this is the best opportunity for you. As far as I know, right now, they do cater to elementary and intermediate Korean learners. If you'd like to register to their classes, you can find the Google link on their Facebook account at Ateneo Korean Studies Program. I'm also not sure whether their schedule is fixed every year, but this year they did post their schedules in April, August, and October. And the tuition fee right now is at 5,000 pesos. And number 5 on my list, and also the last for the academic purpose part, is the Master TOPIK. I only recommend this if, number 1, you're studying Korean to take the TOPIK exam, and number 2, if you're studying to be able to pass the EPS TOPIK exam. Otherwise, if you're learning it for other purposes, I would recommend that you go to other language centers. Well, actually, Master TOPIK is not a language center. It is like a website where they teach the Korean language. These are mostly recorded videos which you have to watch. They do have other classes, but I have not tried taking their beginners classes, so I'm not very sure about the approach to teaching. But I have taken their TOPIK classes via their website at mastertopic.com. And they really explain really well. Sometimes they would explain one question from the TOPIK for like 30-40 minutes, and it's really thoroughly done. They explain all the vocabularies that you need to remember, you need to learn, that keeps on appearing on the TOPIK exams. They also teach you all the grammar in every sentence of the paragraph. So after you learn bits and pieces of the paragraph, then now you can answer the question on your own. So they also try to explain why the answer is this and not the other one. So when I took the TOPIK last year, it has been really, really helpful. So it's like a subscription to, like, say, YouTube. You pay a certain amount every month and you can just watch all the videos that's available for that specific plan. So if you're taking the TOPIK anytime soon, you can visit them on mastertopic.com. It's available all year round. So if you don't want to register to their classes, you can visit them at www.mastertopic.com. And the only thing is that you need to have like a credit card to be able to pay your plan online. And right now, for the standard plan, you need to pay 800 pesos per month. Alright, for the second part is my recommendation if you're learning the Korean language as a hobby. So I already recommended the first two earlier, KCC and the Ateneo Korean Studies program. My third recommendation would be classes by Joshua Cho. So Joshua Cho is a Korean who has lived in the Philippines for a long time. He teaches Korean online via his Facebook and YouTube channel. What's nice is that he has lived in the Philippines for a long time, so he's familiar both with the Filipino culture and the Korean culture. So he's able to translate not only the language itself, but also the culture. So he's able to help the students, like Filipino learners, to be able to relate to the Korean expressions. Like, he's able to teach that this certain Korean expression is equivalent to this kind of expression in the Filipino language. So he's able to do that. So it's easy for the Filipino learners to resonate to that kind of teaching. It's a good start if you're also trying to just, start learning the Korean language. So you can access his class, I think, on Facebook or his YouTube channel. You can just search Korean class with Joshua Cho. I think he posts the link to his Facebook account. And this year, he posted the schedule in March and July. The classes are for free. And for the last part, I would try to recommend some of the institutions where you could learn Korean if you are planning to work in Korea as an EPS worker. My very first recommendation would be Teacher Kami. So I just happened to find her on Facebook a long time ago. So I just follow her teaching journey. You can find her on Facebook at Kami Teaches Korean. So she teaches really well and she really spends time to teach the EPS book on Facebook Live. She teaches in full Filipino and she follows the EPS book. So it's easy to follow her if you have the book. But either way, she teaches really well. She explains everything very thoroughly. She explains the correct pronunciation, question and why the answer is this and not that. And she's really good. So I do recommend that you check her on Facebook. She does post a list of her past videos. So if you're not able to follow her in the past, she still has the classes recorded. So I think that's a plus that there's a Filipino teacher who teaches in full Filipino, teaches specifically for PS application. So you can find her on Facebook Live, and most of her classes are for free, but I think recently she rolled out her paid classes as well. So you can check her out. And the last institution that I'd like to recommend is the Kaza Language Training Center. This, I think, is one of the most popular institutions to take EPS Korean language program. And I think it's pretty promising because they teach live 80 hours of Korean classes with a teacher. So that's really long, like 80 hours is really long. So that should give you ample time to prepare enough for the EPS application. They do teach online and offline, so they can teach you virtually or through face-to-face classes. But their online classes is much cheaper. It is at 7,000 pesos, while their face-to-face classes is at 8,500 pesos. So Kaja Language Center offers a mock exam where you could try out model exams from the EPS TOPIK. So they also offer some tools for the skills test, which you also need to prepare for on top of your Korean language test. And also, I think one of the good things is that after the 80 hours of classes, you can still sit in with them. If you think that you need to practice more or you need to go back to a certain topic, you can still sit in their classes. So I think that's it. I hope this video has helped you identify how you can jumpstart your Korean language journey. 안녕히 계세요.